Yeah, that's a lot of talking.
That's
Hapo ndo
enough.
Okay. Haya.
Flow, girl. Unaona hiyo? Amefanya. Make sure uiweke kwenye ananiekanga yangu. Thank God. My day of vindication has come.
Yako ndo tunakwanga 1 minute plus. Yako yafanya few seconds.
Ni sawa, bado itawekwa. And I will share it at LinkedIn.
Hebu tuanze.
Welcome back to
Truthcast.
So this is part 2 of stress management. Tungoje watu wengine wapumue. Have you breathed enough today?
Not yet.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready for the episode.
So today we want to talk about healthy ways to cope with stress. Yeah, as we're in navigating our
late 20s. This is how my
please yako ndio late.
Our in denial.
Sisi tuko mid. We refuse old age.
We refuse it. Wewe 30
tuko late.
Hata wewe
kwenda 30 iko tu hapa.
Hapana.
30 iko hivi.
Hebu mwambie
yako.
Where do you mean?
If 30 yako shafuta.
Yake iko kwa 29.
And guys, is it different?
I am young.
Is it different from the age you're turning this year?
22. So last time Speo asked us how we manage stress. At some point the episode was about me. So tuka decide sasa Speo akuje atufunze now healthy ways. Tuliwaambia hii ni Desta University material.
Mimi nilienda shule guys.
Nilienda shule. Akambe now school fees itumike. Healthy ways of managing and coping with stress. Hizo vitu si tulitaja huko. Sijui autopilot.
I know. Brother, if you autopilot, we want to ask you to please
seek God.
Like, share, and subscribe to this channel because we are the solution to your problems. Yeah? Because autopiloting is a very... Most people do it, but like we said last time, it's not the proper way of dealing with stress.
Yeah.
Utapata, una autopilot, alafu unafika mahali unalipuka kama grenade. And the thing with autopiloting is you project on the people that you love.
Yeah.
So uko na stress, but una project on the people that you shout at your house help, yet your house help is trying to make you serve your babies, you know, or your home. Ama unapata umeambia boss, we kwenda huko. I can work well under pressure and piga boss ngumu. You know, you end up doing things that on a normal you would not do. So guys, let's stop autopiloting. So today we're going to be learning about the proper ways of dealing with stress. Number 1 is to identify your triggers. Breathe. Identify your triggers. Yeah. Identify that, first of all, you might need to know, Mimi, very little things bother me. Or Mimi, I can let the small things slide very fast. I don't know, I'm not too much into the detail. You remember that time we were talking about personalities and attachment styles. Those are some of the things that is nakusaidia kujijua. How do you what makes you angry really fast or what stresses you up really fast? It could be, you know, there are some people, for example, if I can use house rent. Kuna watu wenye kama deadline ni 5th. Wanalipa midnight. You know? Yeah. And then there are people who pay rent on the previous month. They've already catered for them. So that means you atakangi stress ya kubishiwa hodi ama deadlines. Yes, that's the word. Awataki stress ya deadline. So they make sure that the deadline is not chasing them. They're the ones who are telling the deadline when they are going to sort it. Yeah. So that you'll find those people are very keen to detail. So some people like those ones, vitu ndogo ndogo zinaweza wabo. Tuko poa?
So up until this point, ndo nikuelewe. Niko class, my people. So observe yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Identify your triggers.
My observation.
For example, if I can use a situation where you're employed and you have a boss who is very keen to detail, that person will constantly keep you on your toes. So that you stop, you prevent yourself from being asked, where is the report? Where is the this? Where is the this? Have a plan of what this boss likes. Just so that you prevent yourself from being stressed. Kila saa unapigiwa simu ama kila saa an email is written to your desk. You understand?
Yeah.
So identify your triggers. Once you identify your triggers, then now it takes me to the second point, my second point, priorities. So I saw a certain quote, I think this week, that said, don't prioritize your schedule your priorities. So if family time is family time, family time is family time. If you can't receive calls during family, work calls, during family, you don't receive work calls during family. And that will make you, to create boundaries with work people. So when you're able to to schedule your priorities, you'll know what am I supposed to do when and where. Because you'll find that some of the things that stress us are because we were not responsible or disciplined enough to do what we were supposed to do.
Okay.
Most of the times. Very few times utapata ni unavoidable circumstances or irreconcilable differences. But most times it's that maybe you didn't plan your time well, or you didn't communicate to the person you were supposed to communicate to earlier. So in order to avoid being in such a space, schedule your priorities. If it's family, it's family. If it's work, it's work. If it's creating content, it's creating content. If it's time for yourself, going to make your nails, going to the spa, all those things, schedule them so that you're able to give each and everything on your schedule the time that they deserve. Straight faces.
Personally, I used to isolate a lot. And this is because... Calm down.
I used to go through it, guys.
Down. I used to isolate a lot. Like when I'm going through it, I am quiet. I'm going to answer my phone. I'm not going to show up. Na kama staki. Na say atubembelezani. You understand? Imagine. And it was really... And to me, it was making sense because I just wanted to be alone. I just wanted to be... And it's not that you're being alone, I'm dealing. I really am not.
Yeah.
I'm being alone and just quiet. Nikimaka niko hivi.
Umefura tu.
Maisha ni hivi ndio inanionyesha.
Nakukanda.
Hey! That was basically my head. Is this it? Literally. So I'm not dealing, I'm not doing anything. So really, and then when you bring the spiritual aspect of isolation, you come to understand that the devil loves and will push you to isolation.
Yes.
Even now, I can't say that I am fully a recovered isolator. But there are periods and there are times where I am really pressed. Like I really want to isolate. Like I am even craving that space. But I have to intentionally be aware that, number one, isolating, I'm not solving anything, basically. Number two, it's not healthy for me. And number three,
even for the people
around me, exactly. And number three, this is not the path. Like this is me going backwards, not forward.
Yeah.
So in that period, you have to, for me, I identify the things that I really don't want to do. I start looking at how can I do things differently. Understand?
Yeah.
And also my communication was in the pits.
Hell,
hey, namuna mata. My communication was also in the pits. So now, grown, advanced in age, you identify someone who you feel will understand you in that space, whatever it is, so that you at least get it off your chest.
Yeah.
With hata kama ni one person. Yeah? Get it off your chest with one person. Mcheke, mlie, do whatever. And then process that mess. You're in a mess. So how do we not stay in this mess? Or rather, just process it. Processing is very different.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think, I was asking you this question the other day, as in how do you know you have processed things? Because sometimes as a grown-up, like you said, to prioritize stuff and to identify your triggers, as a grown-up, sometimes it feels like you don't have time to
or
deal.
Everything needs to be handled at the same time.
And you don't even have time to deal. You have work, you have deadlines, you have bills, others have kids,
Yeah.
you have spouses.
Yeah.
You know that need all this attention, and you're like, you know what, I don't have time. We shall deal. Is that statement familiar with you?
We shall deal later.
We shall deal.
Why are we laughing?
Because you say that.
Really?
Yes.
I do.
What do you mean? What?
It's that serious.
Not serious, but you use
As
that
in,
line.
I do that a lot. I
Yeah.
say that a lot.
Yeah.
I
Like,
didn't
there's no
know.
time.
I didn't know I say that a
There's
lot.
no time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to.
I'll deal with it later. I have a lot on my plate.
Okay.
And I hear you. I hear you
Yeah.
though. I hear you. So you see, as grown-ups, we really don't have the time to... Not really, we don't have the time, but it feels like we don't
Things
have
have
the time.
to be done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying that most of the time utapata ni it's just a mistake you made somewhere, either in communication or in prioritizing or just discipline.
Yeah.
And that's why ita kama una feel unataka kufanya that's why it's a feeling.
Yeah.
Wewe unashinda ukijiambia akikai nafaa kulipa rent, you know, it's just a feeling that you have. And then I like also the thing that you've said, isolation. You know, there are proper ways of isolating. Because if you, for example, you can tell me, you know what, Spencer, I don't want to have this conversation now. I really want to be alone. At least I'll know Tiffany wants to be alone. And I can ask you, okay, can I check it with you in an hour? Do you need a day? You know? And then Nijue, she needs this long. Okay, what are you going to be doing in this time? Are you going to be just watching TV? So that Nijue, we know how to be with you even while you're isolating and you're on your own. But sasa unajua hii isolation yenye
unanyamaza, you just disappear.
Ashiki simu.
Yeah,
Sasa
you
unaona,
stress someone.
if you're isolating but someone is keeping you accountable, that is also a way of dealing with the stress.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with yourself first before you now go to start dealing with whatever the problem was. And I also like that you mentioned seasons. You remember, there's a time we were there for our friend and someone told her that we can't pray her out of a season.
Yeah.
We can't tell God, we declare this season to pass in Jesus' name.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we pray for her to have grace to handle
grow,
whatever this season is. Wow. And you'll notice that sometimes stress, some seasons make her, 2022. They bring out very dark sides.
Your neck was long.
Let me tell you, I saw a certain photo.
Unaona hiyo intro yetu. There are clips of you looking like
giraffe. Let me tell you, there's a time our church we had gone for a family fun day at waterfront. Mkono yangu ilikuwa ndefu. I saw, and I was dancing, yeah. I think it was a praise set. We danced. So I was watching that video, just I'm like, is this?
yeah.
So there are seasons that bring out very, very dark sides of us.
Yeah.
And sometimes the problem is that we want to get out of that season as fast as we can.
That's true.
But if you are submitted to the Holy Spirit and God is the author and the finisher of your life, utaka kwa hiyo season.
Yeah.
Mpaka yeye ndo aseme tumemaliza.
About staying in the season, someone also told me your season can never be over until you learn the lesson you're supposed to learn in that season.
Yeah.
So for whoever anataka kutoka kwa hiyo season haraka, then identify the lessons you need to learn, then learn them very fast, adjust, then the season will end.
Absolutely. And accept that this season is going to look like this. For example, you remember when you guys were talking about you're a new mom. You are used to a different kind of cycle of sleep.
Yeah, yes, I have a podcast later, Momvazations KE. Look for it and subscribe. Sawa, if you're a mom to be, or an aspiring
Or even
mom.
a husband.
By the
Yeah,
way.
you need to understand what your wives are going through.
Yeah, so you remember when you were saying that mothers get so much stress when they can't sleep well. And it also affects even how they lactate. You know. Sasa mwanamke mwenye amekubalia kwamba sasa hii period sitakuwa nalala vizuri. So every little chance I get to sleep, I sleep so that I increase my supply of milk. That's something that now you'll be doing to counteract the stress that not sleeping is bringing to your body. Why are you looking at me like that? You're stressed.
No, actually, I'm just thinking how life is so real. Like this a bit, my God. Anyway.
And then one thing you guys need to know, hakuna mtu ana stress. That person that you're imagining is not, that social media person, influencer, that you're imagining is not stressed, is going through it somewhere.
It's true.
Yes.
Kiatu
inamfinya mahali.
It's true.
And maybe they just know how to put up a face, or they know how to deal with their stress.
Yeah.
Something that has helped me in stress management that I think is healthy, the expert atatuambia, is journaling. Hey,
Magi usiku
Magi anaamka asubuhi.
11 p.m.
No, book. The first thing this babe did was open the book and write. I was like,
I'm so proud of you, babe. Hey, I'm so proud of you.
it helps
alafu
me a lot.
tunakifunga.
Yeah, tunakifunga vizuri, tunakieka. Yes. And I used to journal when I was in primary. A lot. Until, so this mama who was living with us, I don't know what she was doing in my room.
She didn't really have to be looking for it because if you were...
But she didn't even, I don't know, she just had her own issues, that person. So, because that book was hidden. Mimi nilikuwa na watu, mama kwa alikuwa ananiambia zile za kufunga na fungo. Unazikumbuka hizo?
Nice.
You know, it's surprising that your mom is the one who was used to buy those books.
And then she was surprised to find things inside. So anyway, come home, nikapata the mama amepea my mom has read, you're writing about boys in this book, and it became a whole issue. You can imagine, typical African home.
Yeah.
So tangu hiyo time I stopped writing. So because I was always like, anyone might find. Actually in high school I tried writing a letter and mwalimu akapata.
It was not your day.
It was not for me at that point. So after then sikuwa naandika tena. But then sometimes, as in for me, I think I overthink sometimes. Such that naweza fikiria hadi nipate mind block. Fikiria hadi unafika mahali huwezi fikiria tena. Hata kufikiria simple thing like that I need to pick a cup, like unapata mind block hivyo kabisa, you stop functioning. So that's when I was like, let me just start writing again. Because nilikuwa na filio ajia kuandika. My fear was zitapatikana tena. Tuaibike tena. It was like, I don't call it trauma, but I can liken it to.
I think it is.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there are different levels to trauma, yes? I think that was also traumatizing.
Because nilikuwa naona tu, Shiketa ingia alipate. Ama nyi mtakam home mpate. Nilikuwa like, oh my God, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
You know. So, but then I started writing and then I combined my journaling with Bible study and it helps a lot.
Now my question is, how did you get back? Because now I think for me, I can write. And when I was also in primary, I used to have a journal. And I did the today, this and this, this and this, this and this. And then I remember, same thing but different situation. I don't know whether somebody was looking. Someone didn't find it, but I remember I told a grown-up, a family member, let's just say, how I feel verbally about some things, family matters, on a whatever, in writing, actually not verbally, in writing. Let me tell you.
You're kwa Nipashe, karibuni sana.
On today's news. Literally. And that's how the wells of writing dried up for me. So I don't know whether for me it is fear of juu yangu hakuna kitu ilipatikana. My journal wasn't found, basically. But later I came to hear that they found it and they read it. But at that point the wells were already dry. You get what I'm saying? And let me tell you, I try. Spencer, I do try. You need to write.
What I did, what got me back to journaling?
Dear God.
You see, the thing with journaling, there's the dear God, there's the people who write to themselves, and then there's the just writing. Me, I used to write, Mrs. Konanika, dear God. Me ko tunaandika. And I used to write stories. I would write, I wouldn't call them poems, but I wouldn't also call them spoken word things. Nilikuanga tu naandika. Mimi nikapoteza kitabu yangu. It was a very nice big book. Ilikuwa ya Safaricom kubwa. And then it got lost in school and I just stopped writing after that because I was like, sasa kama itapotea. But with writing, you just write. I think I like that you've mentioned that the wells dried up.
They did.
Jesus is the well of living water. Honestly, Jesus is the well for real. So maybe unaweza anza hapo kwa Jesus is the well and then just write whatever is in your mind. Don't address it to anyone. Andika.
And I think that's where vulnerability became a problem for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Tiny do
So kutumata paragraph.
I know, cringe.
I cannot. To tell somebody now this is how I felt. It takes a lot from me. So sometimes I choose not to, and we just sit it out.
So you asked how I got back to it. Kuna time mulikuwa acha niseme mulikuwa mnaongelelea self care, self love, and at some point mkaanza kutaja journaling and all. And Speo mentioned you can use questions. I even asked you for those questions later. Questions like, how was your day? So how I look at it is, the book is actually a person. I'm speaking to a person only through my pen. So nikiandika hiyo question ya how was your day, I answer as if I'm answering. The book has asked me, so I'm answering. Another thing I do, I talk as if I'm talking to someone else, and that someone else is still me. I view myself as someone, they say exactly, and I just talk and talk and talk and talk. But mostly you're answering questions. Now, sometimes you do your Bible study. I love doing easy Bible plans. Zinakwanga kwa YouVersion. You do them and you just read one thing na inaku capture. You get, for example, Jesus is there. You will where something. So I read Jesus is the well of living water. What does that mean to me? I'll write it down. So as you're doing that, unajipata even some things are coming out. But kenye menisaidia ni you're looking at the book as a person or myself as the second party. So you're answering someone else. So I don't do ati dear God pia yo me inanishinda. I don't do it. So my day was I have to imagine I'm talking to someone else. And it comes out so well, you know. But pia kulikuwa na the fear of, when I started again, kulikuwa na the fear of singe write names kwa books. For example, today I spent my day with Adelaide and Spencer and Siokao. Singeandika jina. Because again, kwa naandika, mtu atapata, atajua ni kina nani. But then I overcame that. Now I'm talking to someone else, right? Yeah.
Interesting. So, I think what you're saying is you need to be very intentional about going back to the things you loved. Because hizi vitu zinatusaidia kudeal na tena hizi stresses. Another thing that you can do to cope or deal with stress is exercise. Wacheni niwaambie guys, 2020 mimi na tata tulikuwa tunatizi, nilikuwa na body goals. And because I remember when COVID started, I had just started campus. I was so happy about the fact that I was in school, you know. Alafu March, COVID no yekakuja. Now we are doing everything from home. And then you know me, I'm not an introvert like you guys. Yeah. I would rather be outside climbing trees and every mountain that I can climb. So I remember when COVID ikaanza, and then Tata came home, tukaanza kufanya tizi sana. We used to go for runs. Lakini yona nilikuwa naniwezi. Nilikuwa nakimbia 2 minutes. Nakufa. But you know Tata has so much grit. Nilikuwa nachoka. Mara nimekimbia sijui nimesikia uchungu. I really used to struggle. But after now I stopped exercising, I realized that kumbe these exercises were really making me feel better. Yeah. Because when you exercise, you bring your body to a balance of hormones. Whether you're a man or a lady. Yeah. Kuna venye tu your body is brought to an equilibrium. And your body is able to function vizuri. Even your mind. The strain that it puts on your body makes the mind stronger. Yeah. You know, to even withstand pain. So exercising, and then you've even seen people who have gone through loss and grief who started exercising as a form of coping with their emotions. Yeah. But then utapata kuna wenye wame overdo, now they have blisters on their hands. Ama alifanya squats sana, yake ikakuwa ngumu. Nini? Kutakata hiyo.
Nini ikakuwa ngumu usikate?
Ama mtu amefanya exercises sana, they just look unproportional, you know. Yeah. Unakatu, unakapoa lakini ukai.
Gosh.
Kata hiyo pale.
Just keep it there.
Kuna mtu unaogopa
Unataka kutrend for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, keep it there.
Think to trend for the wrong reasons. But exercise is a very good form of dealing with stress, guys, on a very serious note. Na si lazima hata ufanye hizo lift weights na nini. You can do those stretches zenye naonanga siku anafanya. Sijui mtu anajikunja anafanya sijui mkono aje. There's something it just does to your mind.
It's true.
Yeah, so
remember when I was going for walks? You're going for walks 6 a.m.
So kama ni amka 6. Na mulza nini shida? Hakuna mimi naenda walk. Hey, it's very nice. Even going for walks.
I love long walks.
Period of view.
And then that period you really achieved a lot.
It's true.
If you can remember.
It's true.
I'll go on a ball, I'll go and come town. For real. Yeah. You are really balling.
I agree with you, story yako exercise. I also recently started doing walks, but in the easy living, you're just in your living room, but you're walking 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah, kwa screen too, and you just, all you're doing is walking. Yeah. What is changing is the pace. It really helps me every morning, you know. Another thing that has helped me, I don't know if it is one of the ways or whatever, but anyone can borrow it, intentionally working on yourself from the inside out. I think it does so much in matters handling stress. Because you feel good about yourself. You're focusing on something positive, which is working on yourself. When I get things like, things I'm not doing intentionally is every day I must listen to an encouragement message. You know, ni combine encouragement message na your morning walk.
Na journaling.
Perfect human being. Perfect life.
Even if I'm going through hell, I can function through
properly,
my life properly.
Yeah.
You know, sitapata hizo mind blocks nilikuwa napata before. Yeah, so that has really helped me. You can borrow that.
And even I was going to say that because listening to the right content, you know, your mind gives back to the things that it listens to. So that's a very good. It's a very. Wewe sasa uko na stress, unaenda sasa kwa ile watu wenye so utadu.
I know. If you have such friends, run.
Sasa kuuliza so utadu akio uko na stress, hata unakaa umechoka.
And that's what they tell you.
And that's what and then you even ukitoka hapo umechoka 10 times.
Imagine. Oh God. That is so sad.
Yeah. That is so sad.
That is so sad. One thing I like about friendship is pay. Even if you're in the pit, you ask questions. I like, in the moment, it's very, for me, it's very annoying. I'd rather, niyakeselete pata kwa mdomo yako. But it helps. Later, now you help me think. You see, kama hapo ukisema ati, for example, now tuseme tumejeka kwa shoe ya Sioka is isolated and you're there, you're asking, ukipeana hiyo example, I was thinking to myself, see, mtu atakuwa stress, which is good, but it amsaidie in the end. For example, Sioka amedecide anataka, or nimedecide nataka kwa isolate. Okay, una isolate for how long?
Utakuwa unafanya nini?
Utakuwa unafanya, please leave me alone.
Saa ngapi?
You know, the immediate feeling is just leave me alone.
Yeah.
You know, but in a
I mean, your life
eventually.
to stay.
Yeah, we love you as you are.
So how do you, what are the things that you're doing now to intentionally work on yourself?
Very good question.
You worship.
Me, I'm always listening to music. Let me tell you guys. First of all, it's because I seen an earphone.
She's depressed.
Level is,
Let me tell you, she is depressed.
Yeah.
You can read it from her face.
Neza rudi home. Kama ndio how
I
will climb up those stairs and go and get this because I need to constantly listen to. I don't know. I feel like when I listen to the band and see the keyboard and I just usually
get into another world.
So, but sometimes hakuna muziki yenye inaweza kusort hiyo stress yenye niko nayo.
Yeah.
So, sometimes nakupigia
unasikia tu hao wanakupigia makelele.
Nazima hata pia na shout.
Mbona wewe mbaya?
Me, I always call I always call my friends. I'll call Sioka, I'll call Tata, I'll call you, or I'll call Hope. Those ones are kwa speed dial. We are supposed you atashika.
So by the time you're calling a friend umefika kilele.
Yeah. Come on, remember the time I'm calling someone. Again, I were arguing. Nilikuwa kuja nipepete because pour cold water.
Time gani? Ile time ya name searching.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pia huyu.
I called Sioka.
Niko He said Niko
Let me tell you, I was calling Sioka. My head was hot. What?
Uliweza kumpigia from the start ama when?
Day one.
Nilishika mat. Sababu guys tulikuwa tunahavia conversation kwa nini?
It was I've never had such a conversation with this baby.
Nilishuka matatu nikamwambia boss, nimwage maji kwa sababu kichwa yangu ni moto.
So I'm not okay.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Kujo ni so
Unachekaje hivyo hujaicheka
Hiyo ni nini saya? Kuna mtu lazima
wapi? Ile hiyo picha yenye tulipost juzi mtu wake alikuwa tu hapo. Amemgodi huko.
I know. I need to change guys. But jinsi nilivyo
walikupenda hivyo.
So me I'll find myself looking for somewhere to niongee ni rant. Let me tell you, after I've ranted na feeling better. Like hiyo siku venye nilikwambia venye magia ameniboni nini tutapatana na yeye na tutaongea. I felt so much better. So number one, depending on the stress situation. Kama ni kitu yenye hata nikiranta itanisaidia, mimi nitakuja sasa nitaandika what I need to do kwa notebook ya simu. Nitaandika to do. List. 1, 2. And then I'll cancel what I've done and what I need to do. What I need to call someone for, I'll schedule that. Imagine nimeanza kujifunza kutumia Google Calendar and
that is very
I schedule that call. Because sasa right now, even with the kind of work that I'm doing right now, if you don't make that phone call.
Yeah,
things
will bite you.
Kama sahi kuna phone call unataka kumake. If you don't make that phone call, people will think you're very incompetent.
It's true.
It's
true.
Know.
Yeah.
So I have to now schedule those things that I need to do. And then when I can't do something, I don't do it. Okay. And I don't stress about it. If it's not my decision to make, I don't make that decision. I don't worry about that decision. If I have to make that decision, I take the one that is going to cost me less. That's what I do. Yeah.
So music, talk to someone.
Yeah.
Plan.
Nice. Music, talk to someone and then plan. But also most of the time I'll just I find myself talking to myself also.
Yeah.
Watu kwa mira sasa hii nini. Kwanza kwa hiyo mira yangu ya washroom, you guys know it. I'll sit there and talk mpaka nichoke and then I'll go away. I don't know. It's a weird.
I also talk to myself but not kwa mira. I'll sit on the bed and talk.
Another thing I do is I clean.
Guys.
Really?
Wasituite tumechizi.
Hatujachizi si tuna handle stress.
Pia kuclean. Si uliona hata watu wanasema kuclean inasaidia mtu.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I clean and as I'm cleaning either I'm listening to music or I'm talking to myself. So napata I'm dealing with the stress. I'm coping. At least you're not, because you see it's like if you keep pouring water to a cup and that cup gets full, itaendelea kumwagika. Na utapata imwagike na hata inaweza jaza a whole room, yet it was just a small cup or even a small sufuria. So that is what stress does. When you fill up yourself with so much stress, it starts to find an outlet by itself.
To show.
By itself. So utapata now you're projecting on your loved ones, it begins to show. And did you know
it shows in your work?
Yeah, it even shows in your eyes.
Yeah.
And your body.
Red. I know.
Like my body has the weirdest ways to deal. Or rather to tell me, bruv.
Yeah.
We are really
for a certain lady I was seeing on TikTok, she was saying when she's stressed, her hair loses moisture.
Mayo.
Yele inakuwa tu dry.
Kauka.
Imagine. Guy, akini oh my God. So find out how your body handles the stress and then find out what works for you. What we do might not work for you.
Yeah.
And kama hiyo ya walk kwa nyumba.
Yeah.
Kama unachukua pet sit out. I'm joking.
Utawalk to walk on the spot. You walk on the spot. Sawa, bado utatembea, utajog tu.
But make sure
that's what I do really.
You know she has a big house. She can do it. Come on, she hapo
all to all.
Jog on the spot. Achana na hawa.
Find what works for you. You know what I mean? Oh my God. I think the man was telling her she lives somewhere in Eldoret and she was saying that house is so weird. Funny if you have
Anashika ceiling.
so hapo utajampaje stardom. Find what works for you guys.
Yeah.
Find what works for you, please.
Yeah.
Kama wewe utaamua ni kujournal na utakuwa na journal, ndio hivyo. Kama utaamua utakuwa na rant, find what works for you, but don't let the stress hide in your body. Do you unakumbuka a friend of mine was also telling me that stress causes cancer, guys.
Yeah, all kinds of things. See, it's the same as this verse that says bitterness, something mixed in.
Yeah, heart sick.
No, it's hope. That one is hope deferred, but the bitterness is
there's
somewhere
something
there.
on bitterness and all.
I've seen the bitterness one.
You're not
The bones decay.
Yes. You're not really you might not be really
Decay to
bitter
the
to
bones.
someone, but your heart is bitter because you're dealing with things that are bothering you.
Yeah.
You can get any form of sickness.
Yeah.
I think that's why we get, acne. Kama mimi noticed recently, my face was breaking out because stress. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was other things,
So guys, find what works for you. The Bible says guard your heart. With all your might, guard your heart, because out of it, all the issues of life flow from it. So make sure that you are a better person every day. Make sure you're not doing things that will make you worse. Already you're gonna stress, that's when isolate. Alafu, and then sin gives birth to sin. Dhambi inaza dhambi. So if something is not working for you, then it's working against you. The more you continue to do the negative, you're putting yourself at a more worse state than you are. So find a way of making sure that your stress is handled, and and your stress is not affecting things that will bite you in the neck.
Alafu hapo kwa guarding your heart, I think one of the ways you can guard your heart is by watching what you hear and what you see.
Absolutely.
Yes, what you take in, that's how you guard your heart. Uko na stress, alafu unaenda una watch Emancipation. See, that movie is depressing. So imagine you're so stressed, and then you go watch a depressing movie.
Which reminds me, I don't know if you had come to, it was Tata. Kuna time tukiwa very young, I think we were teenagers, 18 or 19. And Tata came to our church and we were being taught about the 5 souls, gates to the soul. So this lady was teaching us and she was saying, your senses, touch, smell, tongue, they are the gates to your soul. That's why they're the gates to your soul. That's why someone who has been fighting addiction kama ya tobacco, akikaa karibu na smoker, anaanza feel the urge to go and smoke kama haja overcome kabisa, because already your soul had registered that smell. So that is a gate that can take you back.
Ground.
Ushaisikia tu kuna mtu alikuwa anakuboa alafu mtu akona perfume yake akapita.
Orama mtu alikuacha.
I know.
Unaweza anza kulia.
Sasa even your day gets, because it's a gate to your soul.
Oh my God.
So guard your 5 senses. Touch. Mimi sipendi kushikwa na makanga. Wewe unibo.
Madamu ni size yangu. Sasa ashakutaka kuvunja.
Sasa siku niko nashika hizi braid refu. Kuna mtu alishashika na hizo braid.
You lie.
Okay, good thing he didn't pull me to the extent niliumia, but I was like, the disrespect. It even made me think, is this how I am portraying myself?
No, you are never the problem. So guys, guard the 5 gates to your soul. Guard them with all the things you watch, listen to, smell, people that touch you, vitu zenye unakula,
books you read.
Because that's why people get addicted to junk food.
Even association. Who are the people around? Because they speak and you see them often.
I think that's it from me.
From you.
That's it from me also.
It's from me.
Point number 1 is from me.
Anyway,
I think one thing for me, what I would add from everything you guys have said, for me, now what I do one of the things that I do to better myself is reading. Not even really to better myself per se, but to deal with stress.
And I like how you introduced that to us. That's the best thing that has happened to me this year.
You're welcome, darling.
I can't
shut up there.
I'm speaking for myself.
living somebody else's life through a book makes me realize, it's not that bad. It's not that, like, it gives me...
You guys are going through it worse.
You're not even really that. You see how my brain works, babe. Unaweza nimwagia moto maji hivi ikwe. You get tutoe moshi. That's how I really think and think and think and think. Especially if I'm stressed, it even affects how I sleep. Yeah. I can't sleep properly because my brain is not shutting up. Yeah. You get. So if I get to reading books, living somebody else's life gives me a pause. Because now you have to be attentive. This person's life, so this happened to them. So you're not really thinking about your own life, issue. Yeah. It's on hold. So by the time I'm coming back to it, I'm more calm.
You feel better.
My heart is not break. Yeah, you get. Yeah. So you think even clearly. So one of the things I've incorporated in my journey is reading, and I love it. Absolutely.
And not just reading anything, please.
Yeah,
don't you guard your heart.
Yeah. Yes. You can choose to do self-helps. You can choose to do African literature. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I think this was a good episode. Social melan a lot. I have been edified. So you must have been edified too. Thank you, Spencer, for sharing your data knowledge with us. School fees.
You're welcome.
Yes. And it's okay. It's okay. To me. Aina shit.
Graduate.
Anyway, guys, we hope you had fun.
Yeah.
Make sure you like, share,
subscribe. Yeah.
Me, I don't. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
I will say it until you do it. So we hope you've had fun. And until next time.
See ya.
See you. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
Yeah. Next.